Hello and welcome. This is a round of terrible damage, bringing you a normal tier matchmaking game. It's in captain's mode this time around. Check it out. We've got two teams. It's not team matchmaking, it's just straight up captain's mode. Now, just a second while I set myself to busy. There we go, so we don't get any more interruptions. Now, getting into the band, we're going to start right off with the Nyx Assassin. On the other side, on the Dire side, we're going to see Magnus. The response, nothing too unusual as of yet. Pretty typical. Nyx fallen off maybe a little bit in the pro scene, but has been a common ban for months and months and months. And once again, showing up first ban. Gonna have to wait on the next. If we're going by the most typical things, we could be seeing a Bat Rider here. However, if we actually take a look at the percentages, Bat Rider not necessarily all that effective at normal tier play. Maybe a little more difficult to get that absolute most out of him. Darkseer the choice, though, also very common to remove from the pool. Very versatile hero. Can put him in the off lane, mid, or jungle. Off lane going to be the most typical, or just abandoning that off lane and putting him in the jungle. Pretty unusual to have someone in the off lane and Darkseer on your team and him not be in that. We have seen a bit more. We haven't been seeing him combined up with Clockwork quite a bit, even dual lane off lane with Darkseer and Clockwork being very effective, and the Lifestealer, who has also been at the top of the pick ban list as of late. Coming up, though, first pick goes to the Radiant side. Again, we do have Bat Rider still in the pool. Gyrocopter, another fine choice. Wisp as well. But Keeper of the Light going to be the choice. Also been very popular as a support hero. Chakra Illuminate, very strong early on, and then Blinding Light, giving you that 80% miss chance later on, has a very strong scaling strength up until the point that MKBs hit the field, and you really don't want to have to build an MKB just because Keeper of the Light is on the other team.
10 seconds.
Dire, though, get the next to Chen going to be the first pick. Chen, in fact, the least played hero in Dota 2, but can actually be very effective in a coordinated team. He falls off late game, but he's going to have a ton of pushing power early and mid game. Gonna see what he combines up with. Pretty unusual as a first pick, though. And Queen of Pain. Probably the most popular mid choice right now in the metagame. So no surprise seeing her. The one thing about picking Chen up first is that you're giving yourself away. He's only ever going to be in the jungle. So you know it's going to be a relatively passive laning stage. He's going to be in the jungle, so you can kind of play the rest of your picks around that. Have a very strong laning presence to give a lot of problems and force the Chen to do a lot. Or just, pick up heroes that would cause more of a problem for that Chen going forward. You could get Enchantress and get into trying to steal away his creeps. And go Bounty Hunter, which could be a pain in the ass when you're in the jungle and he's just going to snipe creeps from you as you're jungling, or go right on you instead. A lot of options. The pairing between Keeper of the Light and Phantom Lancer has been much complained about in the Dota community. Not necessarily the strongest thing at the high levels, but definitely a very strong laning combination, allowing you to spam that Spirit Lance every 8 seconds, and Keeper of the Light keeping you nice and propped up with that mana, not only to continue spamming, but to use Doppelwalk if required. We're into reserve time, though, Shadow Demon, so going right after those top-tier supports and going to round it out with Phantom Lancer, as I just mentioned. Shadow Demon not only a top-tier support, but also works as a block pick. Shadow Demon considered something of a slight counter pick to Phantom Lancer, as you can start to create your own Phantom Lancer illusions, which then can create their own illusions, and you build up your own Phantom Lancer army out of those illusions. So that can be quite annoying if you're on the opposite side.
10 seconds remaining.
Looking for this final pick in the first round of picks. And Warlock the choice. Warlock as a support, much less common than a mid. As he, again, we're looking at a very, very passive laning stage out of the Dire side. Chen going to be relegated to the jungle, so we're looking at a dual lane in their tri-lane. Warlock, not a whole lot of laning presence in the tri-lane, which is why you tend to put him mid. Not only does he want the levels, he doesn't really provide a lot. He doesn't have much nuke damage. He doesn't have any lockdown crowd control outside of his ult. So early on, you don't have any additional stun. So not particularly threatening in that situation. Going to be moving into the ban phase now, looking for a ban out of the Radiant. Going to go with Juggernaut. The Dire side still looking to round out a carry and an offlaner. Radiant, however, they are looking at their mid and offlaners. So I would expect the Dire side to be banning out mid heroes, whereas the Radiant side probably going to be looking at carry since they need an offlaner of their own. Don't want to be removing their options and causing problems, but we do see Nature's Prophet banned out. That would be a possibility, and certainly not something that, and probably not something that the Dire side would be wanting, already having Chen, but you can run that Nature's Prophet in the mid lane or off lane, aside from simply the jungle. Now, someone we haven't seen and who is at the absolute tip top of the pro meta game right now is Lone Druid, but again, normal tier, you have to take that in consideration in terms of what heroes are most effective. Lone Druid, not necessarily the easiest hero to get the grasp of early on until you've got a bit more experience with them. Still waiting on additional bans, expecting more carry selections. Tiny can do relatively well against Phantom Lancer. Anti-Mage can keep up. There's the Anti-Mage removed. Once you get to a certain point, Phantom Lancer will out-carry him, but Anti-Mage, if he gets his room, can be a problem. But who I would be looking out for, again, would be pushing heroes. That's where we see the Juggernaut ban. On the other side, we see Tidehunter ban. That's you can run Tidehunter in the offlane, but he's pretty... It's not the most effective hero there. You're typically only going to end up seeing him as a 4 support at this point, as coordinated teams can zone him out just too effectively for it to be worthwhile. Still waiting on bans, the final 2 bans to close it out. Again, expecting another carry. Could see Faceless Void if they want to lock down that late game, but I would expect more of an early game carry if we're looking at a coordinated team here out of the Dire side. And an early game pushing carry. Kunkka wouldn't be terrible. Again, Lone Druid is very effective in terms of push power, and that's someone to consider, but is the Faceless Void they're going to remove out. And again, Chronosphere can actually give you vision of Phantom Lancer, even under Doppelwalk. Even if you can't see him, if you hit him with that Chronosphere, it will reveal him and allow Faceless Void to go to town. Now we're looking at the final ban out from the Dire side. Going to have to wait on that. And Enigma, the final choice, so another jungler that they're removing from the pool. And again, Enigma can actually function in the offlane or mid if that's where you so desire to put him, but most typically in the jungle. Clockwork, the selection in terms of an offlaner. He's seen a rise in prominence over the last month or two. Bounty Hunter, the offlaner, the choice of the Dire side. Now we're going to have to close out again. The Radiant looking for their mid. Puck still available. A popular choice against Queen of Pain, as Phase Shift can dodge that Shadow Strike and make her harass less effective, but could go with the Beastmaster, going with the lockdown. We saw a lot of Beastmaster a few months ago against Lifestealer. He's tapered off a bit, but he does give you a lot of map vision with that Hawk. If he gets a gem, it actually extends to his beasts, so it can actually go and de-ward with those nice and safely without any risk to the gem itself. Still looking for this final pick, should be a carry. Bounty Hunter, a bit of a strange choice, not going to help out with any sort of pushing power.
5 seconds remaining.
But the track can be nice and useful against Phantom Lancer to counter that Doppelwalk, try and to give you some ability to prevent his escape. Still waiting on this last pick. We're into reserve time. Still in the pool, we have Luna, who could be a very effective pusher. We have 4 ranged heroes, but Morphling the choice. Haven't seen a whole lot of Morphling lately. difficult hero to make the most out of. We're gonna have to see. And now we'll just wait on teams to get into the game. So this should be Chen in the jungle, Queen of Pain mid, safe lane farm with Morphling supported by Warlock and Bounty Hunter bottom, and we'll see a tri-lane with Fam Lancer, Keeper of the Light, and Shadow Demon bottom, off lane Clockwork, and mid Beastmaster. But let's take a look at the Dire side, introducing our players. On the Morphling, we're going to see No Big Deal. Taking up him, he'll be headed up top, supported by M-Rage on the Warlock. In the jungle, we should see KC Homestar. Headed down bottom will be TRDD and Cephak toward mid. On the Radiant side, already headed out towards bottom, we have Rezer on the Fam Lancer. Keep of the Light will be handled by riding the Nuclear Tiger. Gotta be careful when you're doing that. Shadow Demon will join them. That's handled by A-Bombs. Carajo should be headed out towards mid on the Beastmaster. Hasn't bought any items just yet. A little slow getting out there. And Clockwork, handled by Hamka, headed up towards top. Clockwork has selected to go with Rocket Flare first. You can do this, but Cog's much more popular. You can Cog in the Creep Wave as it's going out and pull it back toward your tower. It also has a lot of defensive capabilities, so it's harder to zone you out and harder to go on you. But Bounty Hunter's actually up top. This is a bit weird. And what is going on? I missed First Blood because what was happening there? Who was even down there? Why was Shadow Demon... why was Queen of Pain up here? But that shouldn't have happened. Alright, but we'll try and catch the next one. Warlock has actually ended up hanging around mid at the moment. We've got Bounty Hunter in the safe lane along with Morphling. I'm not sure what the plan is here. Chen, at least he's jungling, kind of wondering for a second there with these lanes. And then Queen of Pain is down bottom in the off lane. I mean, you can do this, but Queen of Pain tends to be a hero that relies on getting up levels and snowballing, and going to be very hard to really have the snowball effect in the off lane. But Warlock mid, again mentioned, does not have much presence in the tri-lane. Does tend to go mid. It's probably not worth putting him mid at the expense of putting the Bounty Hunter and Morphling in the same lane. Clockwork going to be alright with this lane, though. He's going to fare just fine. Actually, still hasn't gotten any points at Cogs. But we'll keep an eye on the last hits, denies. Right now, Radiant side game the better of the exchange at the top of the board. 5 for the Fam Lancers, 6 now for the Beastmaster. Very early on, though. We do have a pull here. This is stacked, so this will deny this entire wave. We had a disruption on Queen of Pain, but no follow-up. That Illuminate well off the mark. Fam Lancer healing up. And only the single ward put down. No ward blocking that camp. Again, also the same can be said of this lane, though we don't have any pulling going on. The Bounty Hunter could be pulling instead of just, you know, sharing last hits with Morphling, which isn't necessarily the most effective use of farm. Normally you want to give that priority to your hard carry, who is Morphling in this case. He's going to need the farm more than anyone else. We have Bottle Courier out to M-Rage, a little slow on the mid, out towards mid, but perhaps didn't actually end up going with a mid build. Didn't see his initial items. No bottle yet on the Beastmaster, though, unless he was growing. Yep, still waiting on that. Now if we head up. Again, very passive early game. Queen of Pain actually forced all the way back to Fountain, so not a good start for her. And this laning setup out of the Dire side, it seems to be working out as you expect, which is causing a few problems. But it's going to be a while before a whole lot is going to happen. Queen of Pain up very far. Can't blink out. There really isn't the lockdown. You have the disruption. Soul Catcher is there, but the blink away avoids it. An awkward blink, though, goes the wrong way, and she gets caught. The Spirit Lance. Unfortunate blink there. Probably intending to get down to the river. Clockwork taking some damage. Again, still not getting Cogs. Cogs is the strongest ability for Clockwork right now. It not only, it doesn't just surround heroes and trap them in. If you catch them on the outside, it's actually going to push them back and drain mana and do damage. So it's very effective in that regard. It can be quite dangerous to try and be up very far without the Cogs, because you don't have any way to push back your enemies. But Bounty Hunter looking to rotate toward mid. He doesn't have track as of yet. So this is a bit ambitious to try and go on a Beastmaster or tanky hero, and two heroes with no lockdown. Sunburst out of Bounty with Janata and Shuriken. But this does give the lane to Morphling and frees that up. So that is good for him. Queen of Pain struggling on this bottom lane. Only, again, you're not going to expect to get a whole lot out of last hits at 3 right now. She is getting some levels. She's at level 3.5. They're trying to dive on her, though. There's a Soul Catcher follow-up. But Bounty Hunter rotating around. She ends up going down, getting hit by that, by the Illuminate, followed by the Spirit Lance, and it ends up being too much. Bounty Hunter not there in time. And he now has a Bracer and Tranquil Boots. Looks like he's going to be moving in for a drum before he moves on to any other items. Built up 1,000 gold on Morphling. Still going to have to wait and see what he ends up going for. Could be just getting a Ring of Aquila. That's Bracer on the Clockwork as well. 1,300 gold built up on the Chen. I hope he's not going Midas. Please don't go Midas, Chen. Don't do that. Now, still carrying a ward is this Clockwork. This is going to run out in just a second, as we are approaching that 6-minute mark. And there it goes. So he's going to want to replant that ward, give himself vision, though. The Bounty Hunter has left lane, and Chen has not even tried to be a presence in that top lane. So Chen in this game is going to have a big game. He's been left to his own devices, hasn't helped out any of the lanes, and they have suffered just a little bit because of it. So he's going to want to make it up for that with what he ends up bringing to the table with all that farm. Now he is actually rotating now, but the Clockwork pretty far back. There is no vision though. So if this lane gets up a bit, but is pushing in, so not going to really get the opportunity. The Bounty Hunter rotating in, not going to go under the guise of Invis, not intending to get anything done, really. Some pressure going out on this bottom lane. Not going to get, actually forces out the Fortify, though, so that's nice. And the Illuminate over top, they're going to continue this. No rotation in from anyone else on the Dire side, leaving the Queen of Pain to her own devices. Not able to really do anything against this. It looks like they're just going to let that go. No TP support to defend that.
That bottom tower you bad dudes had was crap anyway, don't sweat it.
Looks like I actually missed the Golem use as well at one point. Shuriken throwing out there to no avail. Just a little harassed, not really doing anything. The Shuriken will actually proc Janata, so if you wait until Janata is up, you can get a crit with your Shuriken.
Is missing.
If we check out the state of the game, Morphling actually on top of the board, just about dead even with the Phantom Lancer. So going about even in the farm race here. And Warlock actually getting the better of the mid lane in terms of CS as well. So ultimately starting to work out Queen of Pain, I'm wondering about what effectiveness she is going to have in this game. Warlock picks up a double damage rune, though, as that bottled for himself. Queen of Pain rotating up. And we have all 5 from the Radiant side up here on top looking to get something done. We got Morphling hiding in the trees. Does not want to show himself. Chen just gonna hang out in lane. Got a couple buddies with him. Could be putting himself in jeopardy. Oh, just came within disruption range. There's a Shadow Poison out to get some vision. And they're just looking to push out this top lane now after getting the bottom tier 1. Illuminate charging up. Try and clear out this wave. Chen is there. But the Morphling has jumped in after the net. The Cogs trap in the Morphling, though. He doesn't have mana and it's on cooldown, so he can't wave form out. And that's a kill towards the Morphling. That's a big kill for the Dire side. Chen go try and hide in the trees. Not sure it's going to be of any avail. That's a misclick, I think. He actually ended up disrupting himself, and down goes the Keeper of the Light. Tries to right-click. Probably should have just ran into the woods. Tried to juke his way out. They at least get a kill out of that with the Keeper of the Light, but it's 2-for-1 trade. Losing the Morphling as well, but in comes the Queen of Pain from behind. Looks like she's going to pick up a clockwork of her own. Blink is on level 2, though. The Scream, she's going to get Shadow Demon. There's a double kill, and that's going to help out a lot after that slow start on bottom. And that ends up turning around for them. Warlock's still content to hang out in mid, building up his repertoire. Chaotic Offering is off a cooldown, so that's available for use next team fight. Even has a bit of an experience lead on the Beastmaster, foregoing his inner beast aura for the time being. So that will give him some extra strength in his beasts. His Hawk will have Invis at this point at level 3. If I remember that correctly. But it will lack a little bit of strength in team fights. That aura won't be available. That increased attack speed aura. Ward going down. Looking to converge on this Warlock. The double damage is activated right now. Turns around Shadow Ward. Where did I miss a kill? I wanted to pay attention to this mid. Let's continue. There's a Chaotic Offering. Beastmaster in a bit of trouble, but the Warlock going to go down first. He will survive, bottles up, and be alright. Shadow Demon takes quite a bit of damage there. Penitence, we heard from Chen, but it's not enough. But the Warlock,
Radiant structures are fortified.
with that Golem chasing down, just barely misses a hit there, and looks like ultimately, though they tested their luck, won't be able to chase him down. Down on bottom, Phantom Lancer trying to turn that around. He had to end up dying to the Queen of Pain while we were checking out the push on mid and the jump on the Warlock. Queen of Pain trying to hide in the trees, but she's spotted out by the Shadow Poison. No mana for Blink. 10 away. There's the hook in, and she's a dead Queen of Pain. Bounty Hunter was headed back towards the fountain to heal up. Not a whole lot of farm on him at all. But the biggest thing hurting is that he still does not have level 6 for track. And that's going to be what really is hurting them. So, again, a lot of this game is going to come down to the Warlock and the Chen. Warlock taking out mid instead of Queen of Pain, and then Chen hanging out in the jungle, getting a lot of farm there. And thankfully, he did not go Midas. Got his Arcane Boots up. Actually has a Belt of Strength. I'm not sure why he's building that into. Morphling just sporting Treads and Ring of Aquila. Beastmaster hanging out mid, Invis has Roar available, but not going to go on the Warlock. TPing in to defend. We got 3 on the Dire side defending and converging with 2 more. If they don't back out now, these 2 supports up way too far. Looks like they have a lot of chase ability. Actually, Family Lancer is there, my bad. There goes a Sentry Ward. to try to spot out. There's the Sonic Wave over top. They trade off the Queen of Pain for the Famlancer. They get the Keeper of the Light too. Let the hook in from the Clockwork waveform out of the cogs. The Stomp not there from the Centaur. I hear a roar. Ends up going out. Chen trying to survive. Turns around though. He's in trouble. One more hit, and the Beastmaster gets it. End up turning around, but ultimately that trade goes to the Radiant side. They're up to 10-9. Out of all of that, it was a complete team wipe of the Dire. Every single one going down. Radiant losing just the Queen of Pain and the Chen. Not going to be any towers traded out of that exchange, but a good fight nonetheless for the Dire side. I may have just called them opposite sides, but never mind that.
Hey, you guys doing some great work. Forget about it. Green dude's top thing.
Little pressure out on top for Queen of Pain, but she's certainly not going to get that tower.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Just as we see a bit of pressure on the mid tower, but again, these Keeping the Light Shadow Demon are not going to get this mid tower either.
Bad dudes, middle tower, everyone go now!
As Clock headed up towards top. Bit of harass there. Queen of Pain does have to be a bit careful of that hook. Right now, it is the Warlock on top of the level board. Level 11, followed by Morphling at level 10. Net worth. Those are the two leading the way as well. Morphling picked up a Ring of Health. Looks like he's likely going into a Lincoln Sphere now. Clockwork has managed to push out this top lane towards the tier 1 in mid. We have a 4v3 situation as Famlancer gets his farm down on bottom, so this is a better trade for the Radiant as the longer this stays like this, as there's 4 not doing anything for the Dire side. Cyclone coming out of that Wild Wing, but here comes the engagement. The roar goes out as the bounty hunter is spotted out, but the chaotic offering just crushing face. That level 2 chaotic offering nearly one-shotting the Beastmaster and Shadow Demon, and that punch, the Sonic Wave, completely unnecessary, but she wanted that kill for herself. Now they're going to get a tier 1 in mid. Fortify not quite available for the Radiant side. Probably wouldn't be worth spending anyway. And that's where the Warlock mid ends up paying off. Again, as mentioned going into that, he was a level 11. That means level 2 chaotic offering, and that means a lot of damage.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Pushing into the tier 2 now, putting pressure out there. They're not going to get this. They can't reasonably get this tier 2 though. We do have a rotation down out of the Clockwork. They got to be a bit careful. This hook is within range right now. They hook onto the Chen. There's the cogs, and they have a dead Chen now. One more hit, down he goes.
If you come back, I'll kill you again.
Hung out just a little too long there in mid, and they give up the Chen. So, Radiant gets a little something back. TP home by the Warlock. What's he picking up?
Green dude's top thing
Picks up an Ogre Club. Looks like he is going for Aghanim Scepter. Already has the Staff of Wizardry. A little weird not to get the point booster, as at, if not first, second. Blink away, losing all of her mana, unfortunately. She'll bottle back up. Actually going for double Null Talisman. Which normally I wouldn't like, but it's somewhat reasonable considering that she didn't have the mid farm that she normally would. And that gives her a bit of strength now where she otherwise wouldn't. Shadow Ward out on the Beastmaster. He actually turns around, but the waveform through. That Beastmaster has just given up his life, it looks like. Oh no! He pushed him away! If he had just right-clicked, that probably would have been a kill, but the Adaptive Strike pushed him back and let him get away. Only at level 2 right now. That was not enough damage. Shadow Demon puts the disruption down, but Warlock is there and Chaotic Offering is up in 5.
Bad dude's top tower gonna fall over soon.
Not going to
Dire
commit to
structures
that
are
though.
Fortified.
Now the rotation out of the Dire down towards bottom. Chen is up on top, but he has to be careful. Not only is Clockwork there himself, but he has some backup in the Phantom Lancer behind him. He goes into the shop first. That's kind of greedy, but they're going to get him anyway. The Spirit Lance is up in a second, but they hook him. And that's a dead Chen once again. Chen having a rough game, actually 1-4 right now, leading the game in deaths. Again, just not being in a safe position. It's a little too far out. And it looks like they're going to have to give up this tier 1. No response back up top. In fact, no TP scrolls, only a TP on the Bounty Hunter.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And he's not going to be able to do anything about it. They can try and push out this bottom lane, but they're not going to be able to get that tier 2. And here comes Illuminate over all 4. And that should actually force them back. No mech here to heal back up. And they're headed back. Rocket comes in if they had decided to hang around. But no such luck.
Dire's top
Tier
tower
2
is
now
under
taking
attack.
damage.
Can we pause, please?
Still no
Tower
rotation
right
out
now
of the Dire
is
side. They're just completely ignoring the Phantom Lancer. Closing in on that Diffusal Blade as the 2 Blades of Alacrity still needs the recipe. And a Robe of the Magi.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, well, we have a bit of a slowdown. We can take a look at the state of the items in the game. As mentioned, the Phantom Lancer closing in on his Diffusal Blade. Queen Pain looks like she's resting Aghanim Scepter. Not necessarily the most recommended choice on her. Usually you're going to see a Orchid or a Scythe of Vice, Scythe of Vice rushed out on her. But again, it's a little weird considering that she wasn't mid. I heard Clockwork. I'm not sure where he went out. Chen actually has his Necronomicon. What level is that? I believe it's his level 1. It is. That'll help out with his push. Again, still even the tier 1 standing, not necessarily the situation you want to be in 21 minutes in when you have a Chen on your side. Bit of Spirit Lance harass. Illuminate catches the Warlock and Morphling. Morphling very low. Going to want to strength morph up, and he's not doing it though. Chaotic Offering, counter initiation, but not necessarily the time to do it. And now they're going to try and fight this out very awkwardly. There's the ult out. There's a Hand of God out of the Chen. Morphling still alive, ends up taking out the Clockwork. Warlock down at 10 HP, going to get away. And somehow out of all of that, they go 4 for 1 in the trade. Bounty Hunter ends up dying. Look out! The Illuminate could catch someone if that hit Morphling before he had healed up. Could have been trouble.
High levels of sarcastic, Captain.
Manages to work out, and the Golem continuing to do work. Up top, the Creeps may end up getting the tier 1. TP and Shadow Demon make sure that stays up, at least for now. Enough for the Ultimate Orb on the Morphling, very close to his Lincoln Sphere. Chen, Necronomicon level 2, up and running.
Radiant's top tower has been denied.
Warlock 700 away from Aghanim Scepter on him. And that is an item that the Radiant side does not want to see, considering how these team fights have gone so far. The upside, though, There is a defusal nearly done on Fam Lancer. I guess not necessarily nearly, about 1,200 away, I'd say. I ended up going Yasha first. I mean, in general, I'm not the biggest fan of Yasha before defusal. But especially in this case, you could have gone straight defusal and had that purge for the golem, take him out of the equation. You still have the stun, you still have the damage from the ult, so it's still very strong. But removing the golem means that continuing to fight there isn't suicide. I think out of the dire side, they're going to want to have the Lincoln Sphere and Aghanim Scepter done before they commit to the next team fight. That would ensure yet another strong showing, provided that they aren't caught out in really bad positioning. As we actually take a look at the XP and gold graph, dire side getting the better of the exchange. Not a huge advantage, but they are a bit ahead. And we're at 24 minutes in. The danger is at once you start to get 35, 45 minutes in, this Chen is really going to taper off, whereas on the Radiant side, their heroes really aren't. At least not for much longer. Shadow Demon going to scale arguably as well as any support, but forget that. The initiation goes out on the Beastmaster. He's caught up too far. Very aggressive on the Bounty Hunter, gets caught by that hook shot in out of the Clockwork. Now they're going to try to continue to initiate, but bad idea. There's the Chaotic Offering, trying to turn this around once again. Now going on the Shadow Demon is the Morphling, but he gets disrupted. The Clockwork trying to follow in, he's exploded. Screaming Pain and Adaptive Strike. And that ends up being 2 for 1 overall. Shadow Demon gets out of there with the TP away. And overall, it's just these team fights. They can't seem to make them work.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Clockwork hitting every hook. But it's not been enough. And now we're moving in towards this tier 2, and this time they may get it. Diffusal Blade is done on the Phantom Lancer. And with that team fight, yeah, 15 gold away from Aghanim Scepter on Warlock. However, it is going to be a couple minutes before Chaotic Offering is off a cooldown again. Queen of Pain, she actually has enough to finish her Aghanim Scepter. There it is as well. So both at the same time going to be finishing those up. Warlock looks like he's headed up to purchase his point booster. The Blade of Alacrity on the Courier, Lincoln Sphere done on Morphling. So they ended up taking a fight before these big items were done, but having that victory means not only do we have Aghanim Scepter done on Warlock and on Morphling, and the Lincolns on Morphling, but we also have Aghanim Scepter done on Queen of Pain and Necronomicon 3 done on the Chen. I hear a hook shot. There's a hook in on the Warlock under tier 2. Beastmaster is there as well as the whole team moves into pressure. Ends up getting caught out. However, Chaotic Offering on cooldown anyway. A nice pick off, but with Aghanim Scepter done and Chaotic Offering on cooldown, not as big as it otherwise could have been. We actually have a Medallion of Courage on the Bounty Hunter. Always nice and helping to burst down heroes, and will actually help out in quickly finishing off Roshan with that minus armor. Fan Lancer is pushing out this bottom lane. Lincoln Sphere, nice and annoying. Not going to be affected by that Spirit Lance now. And now acquired, as we see, Aghanim Scepter on the Warlock. So what does Aghanim Scepter do for these heroes? Queen of Pain is going to increase the damage and lower the cooldown. So the cooldown goes down to 40 seconds at level 3 on Scream of Pain. 70 seconds at level 2, so not quite as nice. On Warlock, you can have double Golem is the big difference. So again, trying to fight underneath the Golem really hard, especially when you add in a second one. Fuse Blade is done on the Phantom Lancer, so he'll be able to purge one, as Purge will instantly do 1400 damage, which will kill off that Golem, but now instead of there being none, there'll still be one on the field. Illuminate over top, not doing as much damage as before, but Bounty Hunter ends up getting quite low. With Keeper of the Light there, it's going to be very... Oh, there's a hook shot in, once again on Chen being the victim. And I think they're going to want to turn around, but here goes the fight. The Aghanim Scepter, Chaotic Offering, instantly melting. 2, 3 down now, 4 down, 5 down, complete team wipe.
That was perfect.
A little too greedy on the Radiant side, trying to team fight in on the low ground. I was trying to say that it's going to be very difficult trying to push into tier 3 without a pipe, with Illuminate coming in over top of them when they try and do so. But if they walk out into a Chaotic Offering from a Warlock with Aghanim Scepter, then they don't have to worry about that when the entire team is dead. There go mid-racks. And now you're going to have to wonder how Radiant is going to turn this around. They do have the late game. Morphling's not going to be able to keep up if the game goes late with this Phantom Lancer, who has done all right in this game. He is the second most farmed hero on the map right now, behind the Morphling. The problem is, aside from him, the next 3 are on the Dire side with Queen of Pain, Warlock, and Shen. Queen of Pain doing alright for herself now, going into Ultimate Orb. Looks like she'll be going for a Scythe of Vice. Though technically that could be Eye of Scotty. I have seen that before in Queen of Pain. Not necessarily recommended though. There's your Oblivion Staff picked up by Warlock. We'll be seeing him head in for a Refresher Orb now, as if the Aghanim Scepter weren't enough. If just the Golem itself weren't enough. The next big thing, though, before Refresher is going to be that level 16 to give them that level 3 Chaotic Offering. But the push comes in on this mid tower, and the reaction is kind of slow. Looks like they're actually just going to be able to take this. They do fortify, but no one's there. There's 3 there. Here comes the TP back, but it's too late to defend that tower. They're going to defend for the tier 3, but it would be really questionable here for the Radiant to try and push in, and they are backing up. Certainly don't have the pushing power to push into this right now, as it is quite the big lead for Dire at this point, over 7,500, closing in on 10,000 experience. Not looking nearly as much that way in terms of gold, but still a lead. Bounty Hunter being relatively starved. He's not the hero you're usually going to expect or want at the bottom of the list on your team. Keep in mind, Chaotic Offering back up, so you have to be very careful moving in to this area here. This tight choke. Big problems trying to attack into that if you're the Radiant side. But Dire also not willing to commit to the Roshan, and just a bit of posturing as Phantom Lancer pushes out top. Keep in mind, he could do this as the Keeper of the Light can just recall him in as necessary. But now Dire looking to go on the aggressive. Gotta check on TPs. TP scroll on Morphling and on Shen. Gotta have more, guys. Gotta have more. Now rotating towards this bottom tier 2.
Bad dude's top tower gonna fall over soon.
However, they do not want to trade the tier 3, and there's the TP back out of Morphling. There's a hook in on the Queen of Pain. Blink is there. She is able to get out. Hand of God used. But they're going to try and pursue. Here comes the turnaround. Chaotic Offering. There it is. Only hits on Clockwork, though. He's in a bit of trouble. No follow-up. Roar out on the Golem. That's a little weird, and he ends up going down for his insolence. And this could be a tier 2 now, as that fight goes the way of the Radiant. 2-for-1 trade there, and Golems force them back. Tier 2. And the Golems this game, those are the story. They have not been able to deal with it. I believe we did end up seeing a purge in the fight before last. Famlancer looking to pursue. Chengo TP out, and they're going to get away safely, not willing to go up to high ground for that one.
Yo, green dudes.
Morphling going for another ultimate orb. He could be going Scotty. Still no indication out of the Queen of Pain as to what her next pickup will be, though. Scythe of Ice would be the most normal one. She could also be going Lincoln Sphere as well. I would much rather see a Scythe, though. Okay, so you're Radiant. What do you need to do? Well, the split push is going to continue to be something that Famlancer can and needs to do. He has Keeper of the Light to recall him in as necessary. A nice stack built up here at the Ancient, so that'll help out as well. He's got a Reaver. He has enough for his Vitality booster, so he's about 1,000 away from Heart. So that will be very nice as well. But there isn't the strongest ability to counter the split push on the Dire side. They're going to want to finish this earlier, and they're going to want to continue to push as 5, which means they're going to have some trouble if you can continue to keep the lanes pushed out. However, this Ancient stack has actually taken quite a while, and now the lanes are all pushed in on his own side. Also, keep in mind the mid is going to continue to push in naturally because of the loss of those barracks in mid. Beastmaster in a bit of a rough spot here, could be caught out. However, there's some rotation from the Radiant. Will they be there in time to help him? We have just everyone moving around here. It's actually the Clockwork split pushing bottom right now. And he does have a TP scroll. He's going in for an Aghanim Scepter as well. A lot of Ogs in this game. Not on the Beastmaster, though. Beastmaster actually has a Javelin. That's a weird choice. There's the hook in. The initiation. Cog on 2. Where's the follow-up? Uses Blade Mail. Sonic Wave hits 2. Does a lot of damage. Chaotic Offering delayed a while, but there it is. Stun on 2, I believe. The Golem purged out. Takes a lot of damage as well. The reinitiation, we see a loss on Bounty Hunter and Warlock here. Famlancer doing a lot of damage. Now gets the Morphling as well. And this fight not going nearly as well. Not going to go on the Chen. Does follow out on the Queen of Pain. She's not able to get away in time. And 4-for-1 goes the other way.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And I believe that has to come down to that Chaotic Offering again actually coming out too late. So it going the other direction this time. And the Lancer has his heart done, and that headed out to him. That fight allows Clockwork to finish his Ogden Scepter. That's going to lower the cooldown and increase the range on that hook. Actually, it might not increase the range. It decreases the cooldown, though, from down to 12 seconds. Range already ridiculous at 3,000.
Dire structures are fortified.
Tier 3 taking a lot of damage. Chen getting real ballsy chasing him. Fan Lancer just going to TP out. Scotty done on the Morphling. And that's actually a pretty big item for him. A lot of stats there. The slow is going to be very nice. And going to get a lot of his damage out of that morph. Can bottle up a regen rune as 4 rotate up towards top. While Fan Lancer continues to farm up just a little bit. Actually ends up buying up the quarterstaff first. Pretty weird to do that when getting a butterfly. Usually go see the Eagle Song first there, or the Talisman of Evasion. Quarterstaff not really worth carrying at this point in the game compared to either of those two items. Also a little weird that he picked that up without finishing his Manta style. You usually see Diffusal, Manta, and Heart as your first 3 items. You could see Manta before Heart, Heart before Mana. Either way, but usually those are going to be your first big 3. Butterfly being a later game item. But change of pace out of Fan Lancer. It actually has Boots of Travel as well. Again, usually you get that later, but will help with that split push as mentioned. Bounty Hunter taking a lot of damage. Here another hook. Where'd he go? He went behind the action. Chaotic Offering as they try and dive past tier 3. Hand of God. That'll end up not being enough to save the Warlock. Keep the Light dies behind the action. Fan Lancer's going on the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain did get off her Sonic Wave though, and she'll actually get away. Fan Lancer doing a ton of damage though. Morphling waveform through, trying to go on the Shadow Demon, ends up getting away. Morphling in a lot of trouble. He ends up going down. Fan Lancer doing a ton of damage right now. The buyback out of Bounty Hunter going to try and rejoin the action. Chen in trouble now. Diving past tier 4s is the Fan Lancer. Very ballsy. Queen of Pain going to jump in. She has Sonic Wave up again, but that's not going to be enough damage. And no stun to keep him there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Able to TP out. Bounty Hunter trying to chase on the Shadow Demon. He needs to track him. That will give him additional movement speed. Where's the track, man? Where's the track? Track him. Track gives additional movement speed. And he's not able to catch him now. Oh, but he turns around. But not going to go on him. Has to give it up as he has reinforcements now. Spotted out by that Sentry Ward, purged, and down goes Bounty Hunter. And that was after a buyback as well, really hurting him, and now he's at the bottom of the net worth, having a lot of trouble in this game, actually going Diffusal Blade himself. Not an item you typically see on a Bounty Hunter. $2,300 gold up on Queen of Pain. Looks like she's probably saving up for a Mystic Staff. No inclination of what the next item will be out of Morphling. Still trying to build towards that refresher is the Warlock. But now the Fan Lancer, pretty big.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He has an Eagle Song on the Courier. About 1,600 away from finishing his butterfly. Sonic Wave over top, but he has heart. He's going to back up, heal, and go back in. And as mentioned, we're heading in over 40 minutes, and this is where you're start to see more problems out of the Dire side. A disruption. Track ends up going out on the Shadow Demon.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
While this is happening, though, this top tower taking some damage. Lancer going to go back and defend it. They can see that, though, so trying to force a team fight here without the Phantom Lancer could be a good idea. But now the Radiant has fallen back a bit and has recalled, so not going to work out. But now in they come. The initiation out of Morphling tries to go on the Beastmaster. No follow-up. There's the ultimate. The Golem's doing a lot of right-click damage. And the Famlancer actually forced out. 3 go down in that very quickly. Famlancer just double walks and runs away. Almost worked as a bait. $1,400 gold now. Diffusal level 2. Done on Famlancer, and actually is a Lincoln Sphere for the Queen of Pain.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And now they're going to go in for Roshan. Not going to be any way to contest this.
That bottom tower you bad dudes had was crap anyway, don't sweat it. Dire's
And that will
bottom
be a
barracks are
nice
under
pickup for Morphling.
attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
And perhaps this will be what they need to break the next tier 3. However, during this, the split push on bottom, a little late back to the party. However, they do get the Famlancer, but they sacrifice the bottom racks. Not sure about that trade. But with the Aegis, if they can counter racks or at least force out the buyback. Actually, buyback not available, down for 80 seconds. They should be looking to try and take a second set of racks right now. Famlancer down for a very long time. Everybody up on the Dire side. But pushing down mid, not sure this is the best choice. They already have mid racks. They're not going to get Ancient here. Yeah, they're simply not going to get Ancient. Fortify is up, and I don't believe at this point in the game they have the DPS to force it out that quickly. However, if the Radiant side takes a bad fight, gets picked off before the Famlancer respawns, that could actually translate into straight up winning right here. But it will be tough. The Morphling trying to initiate on the Beastmaster once again. Hand of God used. There's the hook shot in. Cog traps him too, puts on the Blade Mail. They do not want to attack as of yet. Chen going to go down in there. Sonic Wave hits nothing, but that's all right. Pop of the Aegis. Famlancer not back up yet, but if they're able to kill off everyone else, it won't really matter all that much. Down goes the Beastmaster. They lost Clockwork and Beastmaster in that. And now they back off. They didn't really get any damage out. Didn't get a whole lot of damage out on that tier for it.
Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
Almost a third. But 2,400 gold, that leaves Warlock around 1,200 short of the Refresher Orb at this point. He'll be able to pick up the Perseverance, and that will leave him just with the recipe left to pick up. There we are. It's 1875, I believe, for that, so 1170 left to go. Since then, the creeps have fished off this range racks on bottom. Melee 1 is the most important, though, as you see a lot more melee creeps. And when you lose racks, you're going to see a lot less farm available when you lose the melee racks compared to the ranged. You see 26, 20, instead of the usual around 50 gold. And the split push, big strength coming out of the Radiant side right now. Butterfly, still waiting on that to be finished. Quarterstaff is done. He's 200 away. Sonic Wave used over top just to clear the illusions and creeps. A disruption to create a couple more illusions for Phantom Lancer. Not going to find anything to hit really, so they're not going to reproduce. Uh-oh. I see Bounty Hunter, if they are able to spot him, he's in trouble, but no vision, no sentries, no gem, no dust. Just going to continue the siege here up on top. The tier 3 is getting low. Unfortunately, the refresher orb not up as of yet.
Repent.
And this is the slow push. They're just continuing to push in with these illusions to chip away at the tower. They can just continue to do this. Doppelwalk, Disruption, Spirit Lance. And they end up choosing to deny the tower here. The hook shot in doesn't hit on anyone. Good, just walk up to Chen and cog him. There's the double golem on 2. Beastmaster caught out. And there's the upheaval slowing down quite a few, ends up canceling that. The Phantom Lancer still alive and well, taking quite a few hits from this golem. Go try and turn this around. He's low, not going to have any vision though, so when Doppelwalk is back up, if they don't finish him, they'll jump in, scream of pain, and they actually chase him down. And mid is pushing in as well. Keep the light good, try and get away, but once again, 80 seconds down, and this time around they may actually be able to get thrown if they rush right down there, because again, creeps all the way to tower here. There's a buyback out of the Clockwork, no buyback available out of the Phantom Lancer. They're defending bottom, no immediate reaction here, and the Keeper of the Light doing what he can. Still 55 seconds left. And Refresher Orb with that fight is done. Butterfly of his own for Morphling. So it could be this weird standoff with he and the Phantom Lancer where both sides are missing a whole lot of shots. And of all things, we see a Shiva's Guard done on Keeper of the Light. Mech Shiva's Guard. Not every day you see that. Nice pickup if you end up being able to afford it. Though I would have preferred to see a pipe. Actually, pipe is already done on Beastmaster. They're nicely spreading that around. The Basher is still quite weird. There's a jump in. Shadow Strike, Scream of Pain. Going to follow up. Sonic Wave. A disruption blocked by Lincoln Sphere. Trying to continue to pursue the leap in. There's a Shadow Strike now going on the Shadow Demon. Butterfly is shown here on the Phantom Lancer as he respawns. And we see the story. Phantom Lancer up on top, but the next 5 on the Dire side. So farm going the way of Dire. We see experience in excess of 15,000. Gold only in excess of 4,000 despite this. And we actually have an Aghanim Scepter done on Chen as well. That means he can use Hand of God every 30 seconds. Haven't seen a whole lot of replicates though. Replicate very strong for Morphling. That allows him to split push as well. Leave a replicate where you may need to be, push out, and then you can morph to it if you need to. Big push out of the Radiant side up towards top, while Dire pushes out bottom. The thing is, if this ends up being a trade, depending on when they hit, this is a better trade actually for the Dire, because they can actually, if they take racks, go straight for tier 4, which are already damaged. TP's back is the safer way to play it. And this time around, we have Refresher Orb done on Warlock. And I'm not sure if that's something that the Radiant side is prepared to deal with. A hook misses. Looking for the initiation. There's the initial chaotic offering. Refresh. There's the second chaotic offering. 4 golems on the field. 1 went down from the purge, but that doesn't matter. There's an instant death out of 3. Famlancer is going to survive. Where's the clock? He's actually way deep. He ends up going down. Famlancer bails. But here comes the chase. The track is on him. They're able to track him, and now they're able to chase. Try and TP out, but forcing him back. No, the adaptive strike cancels the TP. There's the dust to make absolutely sure, even though the track is already on him. Unnecessary. There's a full team wipe. 100 seconds on the bench for the Phantom Lancer. And this time around, no lanes pushed in. Don't need to head back to Fountain to heal. If he was so inclined, he may as well hand a god up the Warlock and the Bounty Hunter just for the hell of it, as it's only 30-second cooldown. And now they're going to head towards the throne, and this should be it. No buyback, I don't believe, on the Phantom Lancer. No sirree. We will have respawns on the Shadow Demon, Beastmaster, Clockwork, and Keeper of the Light, but I don't think that matters. Chaotic Offering is not on the field, which is good, but this Morphling is too big for the rest of the team at this point into the game. And in they go. Down go the tier 4s, and it's the Ancient that is all that's left. They have to commit right now. They cannot wait for this Phantom Lancer. They're just focusing it down. They're not going to be able to do anything here. No disruption. And this will be it. Morphling. Nothing can be done. There's the throne. Dire going to take it. A bit of back and forth there. Phantom Lancer got big, but not big enough. Golem's doing work. Ultimately, though, Refresher, too much in that final fight. Everybody but the Phantom Lancer melting. And we see there 9 and 4, but 29 assists on the Warlock out of 45 kills. Chen ends up doing all right for himself at 6 and 8. Constantly targeted out by that Clockwork, but works out in the end. Dire taking it 45-29 in a 55-minute game.